One thing a lot of folks don't know is that you were one of the writers for the Thundercats cartoon that just finished off last year.
Yeah.
And I would like to know, or I think the fans would like to know, how you got involved.
Well, that's a long story, and I'll make it as short as I possibly can. One of the producers of Thundercats is a guy named Michael Gelnick, and it turns out one of his mentors was a guy who I connected with many years ago from my graduate school program in screenwriting. So what wound up happening was I moved to LA in 2008, and it was a very rough time for me. I spent 2.5 years really struggling and suffering a lot. But during that period of time, I got to meet a bunch of folks, and I started to connect with a lot of people in the industry. And after about, I'd say 10 or 11 months of going back and forth at Warner Brothers Animation, sending emails, visiting them, and all that stuff, they called me one day and told me, hey, would you like to come up and pitch a story or come in for a story meeting? And I did. And that meeting turned out to be for the episode that I ended up writing, which was called The Soul Sever, which was, I believe, episode 24 of the first season. It was the one with the cyborg guy that was trying to resurrect his dead family and all that other stuff using like ghost mix. It was really cool stuff and very blatant. So it was a great experience to work on that. And I learned a lot about the industry, and I particularly learned a lot about how boys animation works in the industry. How now, if you look at Cartoon Network and all that other stuff, you're not really seeing an emphasis on boys action adventure animation. You're starting to see a lot of comedy. You're starting to see a lot of silly stuff and weird stuff. But Young Justice is gone, Green Lantern is gone, Thundercats is gone. So you're not really going to see a whole lot of that stuff in the future, unfortunately. At least not for the short term.